All right, guys, let's begin. So just to give a recap of kind of where we've been and where we're going, we're getting towards the end, right? We talked about building wealth, how to become a millionaire, then easy ways to grow your savings. We talked about debt and eliminating debt. We did the Drive Free, Retire Rich video, student loans, both the videos and the discussion. And then last week we did credit score, which hopefully you guys, anybody went and pulled their credit score yet? Done either Credit Karma or Credit Scorecard or annualcreditreport.com? Okay. Get it done, get it done. And then invest money. Hopefully you guys have thought about that and we'll start before the end of the year to get that done. And then today we're going to talk about why resolutions fail and how to create goals that work. So hopefully after today you'll think, let me set some goals about investing or about improving my credit or actually doing some things. Because a lot of times we put these resolutions out there, right? January is coming up and we put different goals, we call them, but really they're resolutions. And we're going to talk about, hashtag resolution fail. A lot of times we put these things out there and then they don't happen, and then the next year we do it again. It doesn't happen. Anybody heard of this before or felt this before? So let's talk about why that doesn't happen and how to actually create goals that work. So that's today, and then on Thursday we're talking about productivity factor, how to be more productive and accomplishing more by doing less. That's what I like. Then the following week, so next week, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm at a conference, so we're not meeting. We'll meet Thursday, but the following week, the week before Thanksgiving, we will not meet. You're going to be doing watching a video and writing a one-page thing on minimalism. And then on Thursday, on passion, believing, and happiness videos. Then it's Thanksgiving. We come back and do 8 success habits everyone should implement. So we have 3 more presentations. Today's is goals, Thursday's productivity, and then after Thanksgiving, it's success habits. And then that's it, and we'll have a final, which should be pretty easy if you've been coming to class. Any questions? Okay. Let's talk about goals and resolutions for a little bit. So why do we create resolutions? There's New Year's resolutions. Researchers show that anytime there's kind of a new change in our life that we like to start setting resolutions or goals, and a new year seems to be a good time. Anybody ever set New Year's resolutions before? Okay. Anybody ever accomplished all the resolutions that they set that year? Anybody ever do that? You did? How many did you set? 10, and you accomplished all of them? Did you write them down, or did you just kind of think about them and then?
Yeah, just have a list in my house or something.
So you posted it somewhere you could see it more than once? Okay, good. As we go along, see if some of these things of how to accomplish goals you actually did with your resolutions. But most of us, we set them, and if we don't write them down, or maybe we write them down, but then we never look at them again, right? And they don't come to pass. So why do you actually set resolutions? Is it because you feel like everybody else is, so you should? Or are there things that you actually want to improve in or accomplish? Right? Anybody have a good reason of why you actually set resolutions? Or give me an example of maybe a goal or resolution that you would typically set, maybe in January or another time? Go to the gym? Yeah, work out, right? Anybody put that one down? It's on my list every year. Work out more. Is that usually what they are? Work out more? Go to the gym more? Exercise, eat better. Do these sound like motivating goals that will help us accomplish those? Or are they pretty vague? Work out more. Is that specific? Eat better. Save more money. Okay, you're not going to accomplish anything if that's what your goals are or a resolution. So let's talk about it. So there's a thing called the fresh start effect. Let me read some facts. This is pretty interesting, I thought. I couldn't remember them all, so I had to print it off. It says, researchers at the Wharton School say people are more likely to tackle their goals immediately following, like I said, the salient temporal landmarks, such as a new year, right? They call it the fresh start effect. Unfortunately, it doesn't last very long. Hashtags like hashtag resolution fail start trending on social media just days after New Year's. So here's a couple. One person tweeted on January 1st, New Year's resolution to get back on normal sleep schedule, blown. Thanks X-Files on Netflix. Hashtag resolution fail. Another, got ready for the gym, packed my gear, went for a burger instead. Hashtag resolution fail, right? Have you guys seen any of these? Hashtag resolution fail. So we're gonna actually watch, anybody know Jimmy Fallon? He does these hashtag resolution fails. So we're gonna watch those in a minute, but it says research shows that most of us can stick to our resolutions for maybe a few weeks, but fewer than half of us are still going after 6 months, and only 8% are ultimately successful. So this guy right here is one of 8% that's ultimately successful. It says even after a heart attack, you'd think that that's like a salient event in your life, right? You have a heart attack, you go, the doctors are like, you need to do these things. You're like, do those things or have another one and die. That's a motivation, right? It says only 14% of patients may make any lasting change around exercise or eating, even after a heart attack. The average person makes the same New Year's resolution like 10 separate times without success. And some people, maybe this is you, stop making resolutions because you get depressed of, I make them and I never accomplish them, right? So why do that? So let's watch a couple of hashtag resolution fail from Jimmy Fallon here to get us going. You can do it. Well, I was thinking, waiting for YouTube. Wow, YouTube's down or what? Did they block YouTube or something? There we go.
Celebrate another amazing year together with the Levion Chocolate Diamond Jubilee Ring. Every you make life sweet begins with K.
That's our chair. That's one of my favorite resolution fail tweets from you guys. Here we go. This first one is from @Abby Dangle. She says, my resolution January 1st is to lose 15 pounds. As of today, I only have 20 more to go. Well, there you go. Not bad. Win-win. Not bad. This one is from that corrupted turnip. Oh. Corrupt. That sounds like a band that's on college or something. Yeah. That takes the corrupted turnip. Yeah. He says my resolution was to read more, so I put the subtitles on my TV. Oh, there you go. Very smart. This one's from that Candace L. Smith. She says my first resolution is to drink only when I'm with friends. My second resolution is to make more friends. Oh, there you go. You set yourself up that way. Set yourself up for a win. That's thinking in that. This one's from @Tyler Hughes. He says, when I said my resolution was to stop saying that's what she said, my friend said, it's gonna be hard. Oh. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. This is it. This is from @Isabella's G123. She says, my resolution was to make better decisions. 4 days later, I got stuck in a baby swing and had to call the fire department to get me out. What? I can fit it in. Come on. It's a big deal. Come on, you and I'm on this one. You take care of you. Clearly she's by herself, too. She listen, but they can help her out now. This whole thing is a bad decision all the way through, yeah. This one's from Sid Loves You. She says, I asked the kids I teach to write down what their resolutions were. One kid wrote, retire. Yeah. Again, thinking ahead. This next one is from Facebook. Shauna Kwan says, my New Year's resolution is to help all my friends gain 10 pounds so I look skinnier.
You want this donut?
Of course, why not?
Yeah. I'm not gonna eat these donuts, you want one?
Yeah.
What do you mean free pizza? Yeah.
This last one's from L. Shaw 5. She says, I promise to stop honking at people while driving, so now I clap instead. If you see me applauding you, it means you messed up. There you go.
All right. So resolution fail is a real thing, right? How do we get past that then? There's 5 different areas that kind of are reasons why we fail at maybe accomplishing our resolutions and why goals might be better. So, number 1, your resolutions might fail because they are vague. So again, save more money, or eat better, or exercise more is too vague. There's no plan, there's no timing, how do you know when you win? How do you know when you accomplish that goal, right? You don't really. So you need to know what needs to be done. How you're going to get there. How are you doing at it halfway through? By when? So they need to be actionable and specific, right? So you guys have seen SMART goals before? Anybody seen SMART goals? So these are smarter goals. One, they need to be specific. So what would be a specific goal for, say, saving more money? Instead of save more money, what would be a specific goal? A certain amount of money? Okay, so save $20 a week or $20 a month. Is that specific? Yeah. Is it measurable? Can you measure that? Is it attainable? So if you weren't saving any money and $20 is attainable, maybe you don't want to put down, you're not saving any, and all of a sudden you say, I want to save $150 a week. Maybe that's too much, right? So you got to kind of decide what makes sense, and maybe you can save $10 a week. So you say, I'm going to save $10 a week for 52 weeks, making, how much would that be? $520, right? 52 times 10? $520 in a year. So that's attainable, it's measurable, it's specific. Is it relevant? So this is kind of your why. Why are you doing it? Are you just saving because? And if you don't have a why behind it, then it's easy to then just not do it anymore because you're like, well, why am I doing this? I could use that $10 on going and get donuts or pizza, right? So it has to be a why. So I want to save $10 a week and then monthly invest that money into a diversified index fund so that I can save and enjoy the power of compound interest. Whatever, doesn't have to be complex, but there's a reason why you're doing it and you're excited about it and it's going to motivate. I'm going to eat out only once a week because I can then save more money and borrow less and graduate with less debt, right? And so you can measure, is it relevant? And then time bound, is it weekly, monthly? Can you tell if you're winning? So then you evaluate. You should evaluate maybe monthly or weekly, depending on what your goal is. If you want to do something every day, then maybe you should evaluate every week. If it's like a weekly thing, you evaluate in the month and say, is this working? Is $10 too much? Is it too little? Well, it's kind of a lot for me right now, so instead I'm going to do $20 a month instead of $10 a week. And let's try it and see how that is. And you readjust after you reevaluate. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about SMART goals? If you wrote this down, 4 different areas of your goals, maybe it's instead of eating better, exercise more, and save more, those 3 goals, if you wrote a SMART goal or a smarter goal, and it was specific and had time bound and was attainable and measurable, you think, and you wrote it down, you think that'd be more likely to accomplish that than just write save more? Yeah. So it's too vague, number 1. Actually, anybody know Zig Ziglar? He's a motivational speaker. He's older, he's back in the day. He did a lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s, but we're going to listen a little bit to what he says about goals. Hopefully this doesn't take so long.
or you can choose not to set them. Now, if you choose not to set them, you got to understand that the consequences are not going to be good down the road. For 24 years, I was going to lose that weight. As a matter of fact, in 24 years, I lost several thousand pounds of weight. How many of you already know exactly what I'm talking about? But it wasn't until I wrote it down, put a date on it, listed the obstacles I had to overcome, identified the people, the groups, the organizations I needed to work with, spelled out a plan of action, set that time limit in there, and identified all of the benefits to me. It was only when I did that the goal became a reality, and I lost the weight. For 10 or 15 years, I was going to write a book. You know, anybody who's going to do just a whole lot of things, folks, I was going to write a book. But it wasn't until I got busy writing the book and writing the plans first before the book ever materialized. Now, if it sounds like I'm trying to say you're having goals, how many of you are getting close already? How many of you are becoming convinced right quick like that you need to have those goals? There's no question about it. The immortal J.C. Penney many, many years ago said, give me a stock clerk with a goal, and I'll give you a man who will make history. But give me a man without a goal, and I'll give you a stock clerk. Now, the interesting thing is goals do not care who has them. Let me give you a classic example.
All right. So wanted to show you, he named a few things, and again, these handouts should be available online. Here's the one for this class. You can kind of see, because they're too vague and all these different things, some thought assessments that you can write down here. But I want to show you at the end, these are the areas, and so you can do this if you want. Again, this isn't a homework that you're going to get graded on, but if you want to accomplish more things, I suggest doing this. You can choose either like you're a spouse, or you're a boyfriend or girlfriend, or you're a student, you're a sibling, right? Some area of your life could be like an employee or husband, or it could be a type. So physical goal, mental goal, spiritual goal, physical goal, financial goal. Either of those types of things you can write down here. And he said all of these things. So he talked about the SMART goals, right? That's the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. But then he also said three more things that you to write them down. He said, what are the possible obstacles, right? If I want to exercise more or eat better, and I have a SMART goal, what are the obstacles that will keep me from going and exercising more, or eating better, or eating less, or spending less, right? What are those things? There's lots of things that are obstacles that could get in our way. We need to know the solutions or the support network. So if you're going to go work out with a friend, you think you're going to be more likely to go work out than just trying to do it by yourself? Yeah. So what's the support network that you can tell people your goals and they can support you and hold you accountable? What are some solutions to overcome these obstacles? And then this big one, again, what's in it for me? Right? That's going beyond what this is irrelevant to me, but really what's in it for me? Why do what's motivating me to do this? And if you have a big, strong yes of why you want to do it, then you can say no to these less important things, right? Say no to eating more, etc. So I encourage you to go ahead and get on there and write some stuff down. So he also quotes in there later, by the way, says the studies, according to Yale study, if you write it down in this way, you're 42% more likely to achieve your goal if you have it written down. So another Yale study said they did the class of 1953. Okay, so people graduating in 1953, I know that was a while ago, right? Grandparents. It was determined that only 3% had completed all 7 steps that he talked about here, as offered by Zig Ziglar, while 10% had done some of the steps. So they wrote it down and they did some of them, but not all of them, right? The remaining 87% had taken no specific setting, where is it? Let's see. No specific goal setting steps. So they had some, but they didn't actually write anything down at all, right? They just kind of had these vague resolutions they wanted to do. 87%. In 1973, 20 years later, they did a follow-up, in the class, and the 3% who had done all 7 steps and written it down had accomplished more financially in their lives than the other 97% combined. Is that significant? 3% did more than 97. So goals are important, and they're more important to, if they're important to us, we should write them down and think about, again, what's in it for me, what are the obstacles, what are the solutions, how do I overcome these, and make them specific, measurable, etc. Does that make sense? Everybody know how to set some clear goals instead of vague ones? All right. So again, a resolution is vague, and a goal gives you clarity about what it is you're trying to do, why it's important to you, etc. Right? Number 2, your resolutions fail because they're boring. Anybody have a boring, like, I have a goal to like clean up my house or clean the garage or get organized with my finances? Anybody create goals like that? Does that excite you? No, that's called a task. Not, maybe you have a goal to do. That's like on your task list of these are the things I need to do, your to-do list. It isn't a goal that's motivating that you want to accomplish. So you lose your way when you lose your why. And if your why is, again, I'm going to clean the garage because it's going to look nicer, again, that's more of a task that you can put on your to-do list and try to get to, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're trying to talk about how to be a better student or a better friend or a better sibling or family member or whatever it is, better spiritually or physically or mentally, not just a task that we have to do. So resolutions or goals that are like this are really just tasks. So it says compelling goals have one of these characteristics. They're spiritually meaningful, intellectually stimulating, emotionally energizing, or physically challenging, right? So if you have one of those things, then that would be considered a goal. Number 3, resolutions fail because they're too easy. So again, on this last one, we talked about stimulating and energizing and challenging, right? If you have goals that are simple and easy to do, then it's not really motivating, right? It's not, again, it gets you to the level. You kind of, it's so easy, I don't have to worry about it. It needs to be challenging. So this, if you can't read it, says, my goal this year is to eat less, exercise more, and lose 25 pounds. Again, it's specific a little bit with 25 pounds, but eat less and exercise more isn't. We'd want to say, I want to exercise 3 times a week for 30 minutes each time. And eat less means I will only eat these times and I won't eat after 6 p.m. or before 8 a.m. or something. You make it more specific so you can measure those things. So the husband says, well, that sounds hard. She says, maybe, but I can do hard things if I put my mind to it. In fact, that's going to be my mantra. I can do hard things. Do you want to join me? He says, no, thanks. My mantra is I can hardly do things. So who's more likely to get something done? Yeah, she is. She needs to make that a little bit more specific, though. So these are the zones of comfort that I think I talked to you guys about previously a little bit, that the next level of success in your life lies just outside your comfort zone, right? It lies here in this discomfort zone. So if it's in your comfort zone and it's too easy, and you're already familiar with it, and it's all good, and you're already kind of doing it, or it's not too difficult, then that's not pushing you. It's not motivating. It's not stimulating. It's not going to work. You need to get it outside. Now, you don't want it in the delusional zone that's unrealistic, right? And so in 1 month, I'm going to have abs of steel. And by the end of this year, I'm going to have saved $500,000, okay? I mean, you need to be realistic with it. So between the comfort zone and the delusional zone lies the discomfort zone, where it stretches us, it makes us grow, it expands our comfort zone. So when we go just outside our comfort zone to this discomfort zone, then not only do those things that seemed harder before become easier, our comfort zone continues to expand, and our capacity to do more things expands. That's how we grow and progress, right? Any questions about these? All right. We're going to talk about, listen, anybody know Les Brown? Les Brown's also a motivational speaker. He's pretty awesome. Listen to what he says about challenging yourself, again, going into your discomfort zone, okay?
lot of people never take a chance in life. They don't want to take any chances. They want the situation to be ideal. See, that's not walking by faith. That's walking by sight. If I can see it, I'll do it. No, 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 no. If you believe it, you can see it. So you've got to learn to stand up to yourself inside yourself. And short circuit, override that conversation that's always going on. 85% of what that conversation will tell you is negative. It's negative. It will tell you you're tired when you really are not tired. It will tell you you can't do it. It will fill you with fear. So you've got to watch that conversation. And when you find it going on, you've got to stand up to it and say, I'm going to do this anyhow.
Okay, you understand what he's talking about? He's talking about a conversation that we're having with ourselves, right? The thoughts that we're putting into our minds a lot of times are negative. Or you can't do this. Why do you think you can accomplish this or save this much money? Why do you think you can lose weight or get straight A's? Who are you to blah, 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 right? So the stories that we tell ourselves, these thoughts that go through our brain, lead to the feelings that we have, and the feelings lead to the actions that we have, and then those are our behaviors and become who we are, right? So he's saying we need to stand up to these negative thoughts in our brain telling us, kind of this villain within ourselves, saying, no, instead, I can do this, right? I can do this. And so it's overcoming those negative thoughts and replacing them with a story of empowerment and power that you can accomplish things. And we'll get to that when we get to the 8 success principles more, but that's key. Like with life coaching and all these things that I've read, a lot of it comes from self-talk, and a lot of our self-talk is negative. And if we can change the story we're telling ourselves from negative to positive, then we can accomplish so much more, right? So overcome what other people are saying, and especially what we're saying about ourselves.
I'm afraid not to do it. And I'm not going to let you stop. And many people go through life never getting in touch with their greatness because of the lack of motivation to push themselves, or because they have not found something that they believe to be worthwhile to challenge them. Many of us are making in-life settling. We're settling for less than what we actually deserve. We don't feel good about it, but we make it work in our minds. We'll come up with some kind of excuse to make it all right. What kind of settlement have you made with your life? See, in life, you're either saying hello or goodbye. You're either on the way or in the way. If you want something, you've got to be relentless. You've got to decide, I deserve this, and I'm going to have it. When you want something out of life, you've got to be willing to go into action. Don't wait around for things to be just right. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for the ideal situation. It will never be ideal. You've got to say, yes. Yes to my dreams. Yes to me. I can make it. Doesn't matter how many failures I've made. Doesn't matter how many mistakes I've endured. Doesn't matter about my defeats. Doesn't matter about what I've done. I don't care about the fact I'm going to hold out. Doesn't matter about where I am. The last chapter to my life has not been written yet. If you judge me now, you judge me prematurely. The biggest challenge that you will have in life is you.
What do you guys think about that? Biggest life challenge you'll have in life is you. Why does he say that? What?
Pretty spot on.
Yeah, we get in our own way sometimes, right? Now the biggest benefit you'll have is also you, right? You can get in your own way, or you can take responsibility and look in the mirror and say, you are where you are today because of the choices you've made, right? So we need to take personal responsibility. It doesn't matter how we grew up. Do those things influence us? Yes. We may have been abused. We may have grown up in a home that is less loving, or whatever the case may be, but there's story after story after story of people in similar or even worse circumstances that rise above it and become their best version of themselves, right? That make something out of themselves because they've chosen to, and the story they tell themselves is one of empowerment. So one of the ways to accomplish things is to challenge yourself and make it, again, not so easy, but to believe in yourself. Number 4, reason why resolutions fail is because they are overwhelming. So we just said they need to be challenging, but overwhelming means there's too many, right? You come up with sub-goals for your goals. And so you've got 10 goals, and each goal of the 10 goals has multiple sub-goals. And then you're like, and you get overwhelmed, and then you don't accomplish anything, right? It's better if we have, say, 3 targets, or if we have 10 arrows, to be shooting 10 arrows at 3 targets rather than 10 different targets, right? We're more likely to hit the bullseye if we stand up and shoot at the same target a few times than one at each target. And so fewer, more relevant goals. And as we accomplish those, do we have to wait till January to make a new goal? No, you can make it whenever you want. So have a few goals, work towards those for a few weeks or months or whatever it takes, and then have a couple more. But to start with so many overwhelms a lot of people, and we then stop doing it. So we're trying to figure out why they don't work, right? It's not that they're not great goals, but if we have too many, we get overwhelmed and then stop doing them. So maybe, have you guys heard of the 80-20 rule? That 80% of the work or productivity or finances or whatever it is gets done in 20% of the time, or from 20% of the people? So think about, how am I spending this 20% of my really productive time to get 80% of the results? And say, okay, from all the things, bless you, I mean. From all the things I could do, what are the things that I must or should do? Because there's lots of things we could do, right, guys? There's some good things we could do, there's better things we could do, and then there's maybe some best things we could do. And if we spend all of our time doing the good things, hopefully we're not doing the bad things, but if we spend all our time doing good things, then we don't have time for the better and best things. That make sense? Especially if we're living out other people's scripts. If people are saying, hey, can you come do this, and you're just saying yes to everything and don't know how to say no to anything, all of a sudden you're fulfilling the goals of everybody else, and you haven't sat down and said, what do I want to accomplish, right? What's my pathway that I want to do? Instead, I'm helping everybody else get there, and I'm not living what I'm true to my values and goals. So from all the things I could do, what are the things that I must or should do? And you narrow those down. Then it says, if I could only do one of those things, of the things that I should or must do, which one would be the clear winner? And that's your priority. And that could be within maybe 2 or 3 areas, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, whatever. Of all the things I could be doing, what should I or must I do? And then if I could only do one, what's the clear winner? You see what I'm talking about? So if you print out this is on the handout. If you think about these things and go through these and actually work on them, again, some of these activities I actually do with my life coach clients, then you see how you can move forward better than if you're just kind of going around with vague things that you're trying to accomplish, but nothing specific. You don't have a plan of action. You haven't thought about your priorities. You haven't created a not to-do list. Anybody done that? Create a not to-do list of things that you're doing that's wasting or spending your time on things that aren't helping you accomplish what you want to. Say no to those things. Create a not to-do list and get rid of those. We'll talk more about that Thursday. All right, resolution number 5, which is the last one. Your resolution failed because they're easily forgotten. Right? This guy's sweeping stuff under the rug, trying to forget about it, except probably not a good thing to forget about, right? So how do you make your goals? Let's say you guys went out and you're going to change the story you tell yourselves. You're going to put different thoughts into your brain about you can do things. You're going to write smarter goals, fewer goals, more relevant goals. Have decided what the obstacles could be, what the benefit is for you, and solutions of how to overcome those. And you're going to write those down. How would you make those more visible? Because if you put them down and then put them aside and never look at them again, you're probably not going to accomplish them, right? So anybody do certain things of where they put it? You said you put it kind of what? Somewhere you can read it more?
Like in my room, just put it like at the door.
At the door. And you see that like daily? Okay, anybody else have places you think that you've done or would do that would be beneficial for you to be able to see it often, daily? What would you guys do? The mirror? Yeah. People like vision boards, right? They put different things of a vacation or things they want to go do, and then that motivates them to then take these action, to go and work out because they want to go good in their bathing suit, or to save the money because it's going to go to the vacation. And so they see the vision board, and then on the vision board are the specific things they're doing, their goals, so they can see that. But when they look at it, all of those things just trigger instantly in their mind because they see it and they're reminded of it daily. And that gives them the vision of wanting to say yes to these goals that they have, even though it's uncomfortable, right? Because it's in the discomfort zone. They still want to do it because the why is big and relevant to what they're trying to accomplish. Put them on the mirror, read them every morning, every night. A lot of successful people have morning routines or evening routines, night routines, where they get up and they exercise a little bit, or they meditate, they read out of good books, they kind of read their goals and vision statement. There's different things that you can do to help you accomplish this. Maybe you write it in your journal or the front of your planner if you use one that you can look at weekly or daily, right? So you have to look at it. You can't just sweep it under the rug. So why should we care, guys? Why do we care about setting and accomplishing goals? Why do you guys care? Why set and accomplish goals? Gives you confidence? Yep. What else? Do you care? Right? At the beginning, we're like, do we care about setting goals? I mean, what's the purpose of setting goals? Why do we even care about it? Okay, see ourselves accomplishing them. But it comes down, it helps you process and think about what is it that I want to do or accomplish in this life, right, while I'm here. Who is it that I want to become or be? And if you don't sit down and think about those things of things you want, goals you want to accomplish, and why you want to accomplish them and why they're successful, one of the main things that I have to work with on people with life coaching is to define what success means for them. Because a lot of times we allow other people to dictate and define what success is, right? Climbing the corporate ladder and doing this and this and this, where instead, that's not really what the person wants, but they're kind of doing it because that's what their friends or people say is success, so they're chasing after this idea of success that's not really even what they think success is. So what does a life of fulfillment mean for you guys, right? What would be a fulfilling life? What does success mean? And then what are goals to become that type of a person or to reach that level of life fulfillment? That's why we set it. If we don't have goals, then we're just kind of graduate, we go and take classes and whatever, because there's no goals of what we want to do for our job, and then we just kind of do whatever, and spend money wherever, because we have no goals of trying to save for a house or a vacation. So we have to have goals because of our values, what we want to accomplish. So if you want to win in life, have a life of fulfillment, be successful, we'll talk more about this after Thanksgiving, then we need to set goals. So the last couple of things I want to show you here, and again, these are a couple of things I do with my life coaching clients, is you can do 5 years, you can do 1 year. So let's just, this says 5 years, but let's just say 1 year. The end of 2020. I want you guys to think about this with me. It's the end of 2020, December. You just finished the school year, getting ready for Christmas or whatever, and maybe you just had it, and you're contemplating now between the 25th of December and the 1st of the year, and you look back over 2020, and you say, that was the best year ever. Like everything went right. It was the best, everything went according to like the best that it could have happened, is what happened. I'm looking back and it was awesome, right? Then you have to ask yourself, what is it that happened? What happened to make that the best year ever? So you can do a 5 years, 1 year, whatever. So if you think about that, because some people are like, I don't know what I want to accomplish. If you had the best year ever, what would that look like? And you write a few things down. Well, I would have done this, and this would have happened. And this relationship maybe would have been resolved and improved. And I would have been able to travel to this place. And I did this in school, or whatever it is. What made that year the best year ever? And then act as if that's reality, right? Then you start moving forward. We're in 2019. November, right? Start acting as if that perfect year is going to happen, and you, in your mind, see it and envision it, and you do those things that make it, and then by the end of 2020, guess what? You've had that year, right? But if we don't think about it at first, those things that would make it a perfect year, then we're less likely to move forward and do those things. Has anybody ever done anything like that before? It works, guys. So I encourage you to do that. It could be the end of the semester. It could be end of a year. It could be a 5-year plan. In 5 years, what would your perfect life look like? Well, I graduated. I have this great job. Maybe you're married or not. Whatever it is, I'm living at this place. Think about those things and then move forward and act as if that's reality. And then when other people have these other priorities that come in and they want you to say yes to, guess what? You can say, well, does that contribute to my 5-year and my 1-year plan and goal of where I see myself? No, it doesn't. So thank you for the opportunity, but I can't do that right now. Does that mean we never serve or help other people? No. But instead of being dictated everything that we're doing by others, we selectively choose those things that are meaningful to us. Does that make sense? It's okay to say no, guys. I have to train people to say no. They have to practice with me saying no because they just do everything. All right, one more. Again, remember the role. Maybe you're a sibling or a son or daughter or a student, whatever your role is, a boyfriend, girlfriend. Think about this. What is one thing, again, not too many, just one thing in that role, one thing I could change as a student, boyfriend, daughter, whatever it is, that would make a significant positive difference in my life? So you can write all those 8 things we had, the SMART goals and obstacles and things, and that's super great. I encourage you to do that. But you could also just do this in each of the areas. What is one thing, even if it's a small thing, what's one small thing I could change or do that would make a significant positive difference in my life? So think about spiritually, mentally, physically, relationally, emotionally, right? Financially. What is one small thing that you could do in each of those areas, or again, as a student, sibling, whatever, that would make a large, significant, positive difference in your life? And do those things. All right, so we've talked about a few things you can do, from writing your goals down to thinking about a year in the future to one significant thing. Anybody planning on doing any of these? What did you find that was, we have a couple minutes, that was most useful that you might use now or in the near future? Let's hear a couple people. What was helpful to you to want to set your priorities more and accomplish things that we've discussed? Yeah.
The ER part of Smarter, because I had learned about the SMART goals like in high school, but you had to stick to them,
Yeah.
So if you couldn't actually keep going.
Evaluate and readjust, right, to what you're doing. Yeah, so she said the ER part of SMART, the part. Okay, good. What else was helpful that you might implement in the near future? Yeah, I've done this and it works. It's super helpful. You can go out and read all these books about success and all these things, and a couple of these concepts that I've shared are really what people are teaching from Tony Robbins and all the gurus, right? All right, one more comment. Yeah.
Looking more for a 5-year plan.
Yeah, do you think that'd be helpful? Yeah, Tony Robbins, and if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, you should go and just Google him or on YouTube or something or watch something of his. He's met with presidents and he's phenomenal, but he says we overestimate what we can do and accomplish in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years. So in 5 years is pretty big amount of time. And so we can accomplish a lot. So think about those things. All right, so remember, your goals need to be specific and in your control. They need to be intrinsically motivating. Difficult goals will motivate you right in your discomfort zone. Create fewer and more relevant goals, and then record and review your goals. All right? Okay, we'll see you guys on Thursday.